Hi boys and girls. Hope you're all having a wonderful day. Today we're going to do some more measuring in math with our non-standard tools. So I'm going to show you what happens when you don't use the same non-standard tool to compare two objects, and why it's important that if you're measuring lots of things, you have to stick with the same non-standard tool to get accurate comparisons. Like you did yesterday, you used all pennies to measure three different objects from around your house, and that gave you a way to compare each item. So if I wanted to measure my two remote controls, I am going to use Legos, all the same Legos, so I'm following the rule of using the same type of non-standard tool, and I'm gonna line them up, and all my Legos are linked together so there's no spaces. So I know I'm measuring my remote control the correct way. So when I measure with these Legos, I find that my remote control is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 Legos tall. All right, I'm gonna leave those here. That's for this remote. Now I want to measure this remote control, but this time I'm going to use some bristle blocks, okay? All my bristle blocks are the same size. They're all connected together, so I know I'm following the rules. And when I line up my remote to the bristle blocks, I find that my bristle blocks are, my remote is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bristle blocks tall. So I found that this remote was 16 Legos and this remote was 5 bristle blocks. But when I hear the numbers 16 and 5, it makes me think that this remote is taller or longer than this remote. This one was 16 Legos, this one was only 5 bristle blocks. And we know simply by looking at my remotes that this one is not bigger. That's because we use different non-standard tools to measure each one. It leads us to believe that this one's bigger because I hear the number 16, and with this one I only hear the number 5. So when you want to measure items and then compare them, you have to measure them using the same non-standard tool. So I'm going to re-measure them doing it correctly. I'm going to use bristle blocks to measure both remote controls, and then I can truly compare them the correct way. So once again, this bigger remote was 5 bristle blocks tall, and this smaller remote, you can see here, is 1, 2, 3, and a little bit more, so about 3.5 bristle blocks tall. So this remote was 5 bristle blocks. This remote was about 3.5. So I know now that this remote is bigger, and by how much. This remote is taller or longer by about 1 or 1.5 bristle blocks. Okay, if I measure with two different types of tools, I can't get that correct information. Okay, so it's really important when you want to measure different items and compare them, you're using all the same type of non-standard tool for every object that you're measuring. All right, here's your task for today. I want you to watch a video on PBS Kids. It's a Martha story called How Do You Measure Up? Okay, how do you measure up? And after you listen to that story, what I would like you to do is I want you to find one object in your house to measure. And I want you to measure that one object using 3 different non-standard tools, like I did here today. So I used Legos, I used bristle blocks, and then you'd have to find a third one, maybe pennies like you did yesterday. So one object, like a remote, and 3 different non-standard tools to measure that same one object. Then I'd like you to either draw a picture of your object and the different ways you measured it, and then label it with how many Legos it took to measure it or how many pennies it took to measure it. And you can either take a seesaw of your picture or you can even take a video of what your objects look like measured. Okay? Have fun with this, boys and girls, and I will talk to you tomorrow.